If you are living or have a scarcity mindset, you are a lot of times feeling overwhelmed, can have depression, anxiety, and you can feel paralyzed, all driven by fear. If you are feeling energized, excited, inspired, and ready for action, you're living in this abundance mindset.
All right. Tell us what to do, Kevin.
Well, the number one thing is I think you just need to make sure that you're watching your words, your language.
Your words make up your reality.
What can someone do if maybe they want to transition from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset? An abundance mindset is a grateful mindset. Someone that is grateful and appreciates what it is that they do have versus always being focused on what?
What I don't have.
What they don't have. Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wisdom of Wrench podcast. I am Kevin Comerford, joined in studio by
the
fanciest Amanda Meyer. Amanda?
Hello, I am fancy.
You are fancy. You are fancy. We have got, I think every time I say this, we got a great show for you today. Mm-hmm. But we've got, what I would say is we've got something around mindset, Amanda, that we have discussed and talked about a lot throughout our podcasts.
Yes.
So I'd love you to talk about that.
Yeah, I've referenced this very casually, I think, in previous podcasts. And the reason that we wanted to make sure we covered it in its own podcast is because I find that there's a lot of power in defining these things. So when you have a definition of the mindset, it allows you to identify that you're then in that mindset and you can then capitalize on it, or you can shift away from it. So there's a lot of power in identifying and being able to put definitions to these things because it allows you to then identify that it's happening.
Yeah.
So as Kevin always says, making sure you're checking in with yourself, this is part of that, right? So when you define it, you can check in on it. You can identify that it's happening.
And I think this episode is really built around the one mindset that is critical in today's world to be successful. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about today abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. And Amanda, these are two competing mindsets that we all battle with every day. Do I have an abundance mindset or am I living in a place of scarcity?
Yes.
And one of the things that I have found in common with successful people in my life is they have this incredible ability to embrace abundance. They embrace it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And like I said earlier, I think now more than ever today, it is so important to embrace this. In today's reality, it's incredible. It's incredibly important to have the right mindset.
Yeah. So coming right out of the gate, right, the words scarcity and abundance, for anyone who just wants to catch up. So scarcity means there's not a lot of it, and abundance means there's a lot of it.
Correct.
So we're not going to be too literal about that, but it does come back to those very real definitions.
Yeah. I love what you just said. So let's make sure at the end of the day we keep it simple, because we're going to talk about a lot of definitions. I mean, because we're really going to accomplish two things today. Mm-hmm. We want to define what scarcity is, what abundancy is, and help people gain a good understanding of whether they're in that mode or in the scarcity mode or in the abundant mode. We're going to give some examples, and we're also going to share what someone can do. The top 6 things that someone can do to transition from having a scarcity mindset, if you may have one, or somebody that has an abundance mindset. How can you even gain more abundancy?
I love it. I love lists.
Yes.
Very actionable. I love me a list. I love a top 6.
So let's jump right into it. Okay, scarcity. Okay. The scarcity, I love to talk about the feelings first. Mm-hmm. Because to me, feelings are your indicators, kind
compass.
of like the dashboard, the compass on your. If your life is a car, you have dashboards. Feelings are those dashboards. So if you are living in a mindset or have a scarcity mindset, you are a lot of times feeling overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
You can have depression. There can be anxiety. And you can feel paralyzed. All driven by one trait, which is fear. If you are feeling energized, excited, inspired, and ready for action, you're living in this abundance mindset. Cool?
Okay. I'm with you so far.
I want to talk a little bit about what you said. You gave a very simple definition.
Yes.
Of scarcity.
I love to keep it simple.
Let's sit there for a minute. What was the definition that you shared a minute ago?
Scarcity means there's not a lot of it. Or
Yes.
There's very little of it.
And a little bit more is everything necessary for future progress is running out.
Running out.
Is
shrinking
becoming
supply.
more scarce.
Mm-hmm.
A scarcity mindset can be driven by a person that has a ton of envy or a ton of guilt, even anger. And it's driven by this thing called zero sum, which means if someone does well, it has to be at the expense of someone else or everybody else, which forces you to compete and to hoard and to hold on to. And I like to refer to these folks as they're rugged individualists.
Mm-hmm.
They end up going alone in life. They don't need anybody else. Whoa. Amanda, I have to admit, I had a scarcity mindset early on. I had a scarcity mindset when I was a young manager early on in my career. And I think a lot of it was driven from my own insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
I was very controlling, demanding, reactionary. I could fly off the handle.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to believe that, huh?
Well, you know what? I think it's a very primal instinct, right? If we think about, again, at the base, at the most simple version of scarcity, if I'm a person and we are talking about food and I think that food is scarce, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to hoard the food. I'm keeping other people away from my food, right? Very primal, right? Now I'm getting angry when someone else has food because that could have been mine, or I'm getting anxious because I'm running out. So I think it's from a primal point of our lives, right? Scarcity is a very natural thing, and the reactions are very natural.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot to go around. If you have it, that means that I don't have it. Zero sum.
Yeah.
Very primal.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it it's so good. How it also showed up for me when I was, I used to be so anxious when people would talk about our competitors.
Mm.
It would almost like create anxiety inside of me versus the opposite, which we're going to talk about, how my mind changed about there's plenty for all of us. There's plenty of business for all of us. So why be worried if you lost a job or if someone has something better than you at your company? What is it that you can learn from that? Mm-hmm. I used to hold on to it and be like, oh, I don't want to talk about our competitors, and it just because it drove so much anxiety inside of me, and it was just I had a scarcity mindset. Yeah. And I think the opposite, this abundance mindset, it takes all the aspects of a scarcity mindset and completely flips it on its head.
There's lots to go around. There's enough for everybody.
There's plenty for all of us. There's plenty for all of us.
We say in our fanciest voices. It's the kind of day we're having.
Yeah. And abundance is an abundance mindset is a grateful mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that is grateful and appreciates what it is that they do have versus always being focused on what?
What I don't have.
What they don't have. There's tremendous cooperation, creativity. Instead of zero sum, they see opportunity. They see all the opportunity life has to offer. And I love this where they believe in human ingenuity. Humans are going to figure it out. If we need water to a certain place, human ingenuity always seems to figure it out. They do. And human ingenuity shows up when it comes to us needing the food that we need, the crops that we need. It's just the belief that there's plenty for all of us. Couple of examples of abundant. When you think of an abundant person or someone with an abundance mindset, does anybody in particular come to mind for you?
You, Kevin.
No, come on.
Throw it away.
No,
Throw it away.
I did not mean that. No, please. Anybody else?
An abundant mindset?
Yeah, abundant. Yeah, they have an abundance mindset or abundant. Yeah.
I can name a few people. I feel like you have someone in mind.
Well, I think about a technician, a particular technician. His name is Jake. Okay, and anytime you talk to him, he just makes you feel so uplifted. Always very positive. Always encouraging. Always wanting to know how I'm doing. Always wanting to. Very interested in what I'm working on. Takes the focus off of himself. And I always find it amazing that someone with that much, abundance can have so much influence over a room or over all the other technicians. Mm-hmm. The room changes when they walk in. Yeah. It's unbelievable to me where, the opposite, when someone has a scarcity mindset,
mm-hmm.
The way that shows up to me is I've seen it over the years. It's a technician or a salesperson that is, someone else, they hear somebody else sold a job and their first reaction is, why didn't I get that lead? Or they got all the good leads. Why isn't that I'm getting those leads, rather than being happy?
That could have been my food, and they got that food.
Yeah.
Scarcity.
Just being happy and delighted for that other person when they've done well. Right. And I think sometimes, Amanda, I don't think it's in our natural instinct
to be happy for other people.
Well, I don't think it's in our natural instinct I think if we just let our reptilian minds take over, like if we just act animalistic and we see somebody eating food like a dog, or if we're a dog, you're immediately going to go in and look to attack that food as well and want to have that food as well. I think if we're able to get out of our reptilian mindset, our reptilian mind, and I know I'm getting deep into mind stuff right now, I feel like we have just been blessed with this brain that has so much more to it than what I think you said earlier, what our natural instinct wants us to do.
Yeah, that primal instinct.
Primal, more.
Yeah.
You said the word. That's better. Primal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really important to make sure that you're constantly watching those gauges, those feelings that you have, because that's determining whether you're living in abundance mindset or scarcity mindset.
Yeah, that's why I like defining these. I'm big on the definitions in the common service language, because when I'm feeling that way, I then know what actions to take. Because in a lot of cases, it can be that you feel anxious and you don't know why. Yeah. You're not able to figure out like what's causing that internal struggle that you're having. And then what do you do? How do you get out of it? And so that's why I really enjoy understanding the different types of mindsets that I may be going through that are causing that inner turmoil.
Yeah. So good. So good. So the second thing we want to talk about today is what can someone do if maybe they want to transition from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, or if someone that already has an abundance mindset, how can they scale it? How can they get more of it? Right? I want to start off by going back to these are two competing mindsets that we're constantly battling on. I said early in my career, I struggled being more in scarcity than certainly abundance. I would say that's been flipped on its head. I live in much more abundance, but Amanda, I do fall into scarcity at times, just so you know. So I have to check myself when I was creating this with you, this podcast, these 6 items that I'm going to share, I have to do these things myself when I see that I'm falling into one of those little doldrum times where I'm having a much more scarce mindset.
All right. Tell us what to do, Kevin. Top of the list. What do we got?
Well, the number one thing is I think you just need to make sure that you're watching your words, your language.
Okay. Watching my words.
Yes.
All right.
So be careful if something happens at work and you call this a disaster, or if you get home at night and the first thing you say is, oh, I'm tired, I'm exhausted.
What's the story you're telling yourself?
Yeah. If you just switch that and say things like, boy, I'm excited that I'm going to be able to get some rest and get recharged or energized. But if I go home to my spouse or my family, the first thing I say is, God, I'm just exhausted. I'm tired. I know this firsthand, Amanda, because I had to go see somebody, a counselor, early on in my career because my words were the things that were defeating me. My words were the things that were causing me to fall into this scarcity mindset.
Yeah. We've talked about this before on previous podcasts, but the message bears to be repeated. Your words make up your reality. The message you tell yourself is everything. So I'm glad that's a very good number one for your list.
Yeah. If I'm holding on to things and I'm worried about things being costs, I may need to flip my mind and look at, it's an investment. Like look at things as an investment over a cost. I also find that if I have an opportunity about, if I'm gossiping about someone else or criticizing someone else and I'm talking about others, I got to make sure I'm catching myself because that is going to put me into a scarcity mindset, because usually what's following that is I'm comparing myself to them.
Okay.
And comparison is the thief that steals our joy, Amanda. The number 2 thing that I feel if you want to transition from scarcity to abundance is the habit of gratitude. Figure out a habit that you can do every day that drives this thing of gratitude, which is be focused on what you have, appreciate what you have, look for the good and positive in every situation, because it's so easy and natural for us to focus on the negative. So finding that focus on the positive and looking for the good. Anything you want to add there?
Previous podcast that we talk about that. Again, a great number 2. In our journaling episodes, we talk a lot about daily wins and positive focus. We talk about what you appreciate appreciates. There's a lot of gratitude that we talk about in our podcast, and so highly recommend. You'll hear that as a theme for all of our culture episodes. Gratitude is everything.
Beautiful. Third thing would be, who am I hanging out with? The power that others have over me. And very simply put, if I hang out with dogs that have fleas, I'm going to get fleas.
Okay.
Ask yourself if you're finding that you're falling into this scarcity mindset where those feelings are coming up, ask yourself, are the people that I'm hanging out with, are they good influences on my life? Do they want me to succeed? Do they encourage me? Do they uplift me?
Very similar to the adage of your income is the average of the top 5 people you hang out with. I think everyone's probably heard that one.
So good.
So in line with
Say that one. No, that's. I don't know if everybody's hearing that one. It's a powerful one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an adage that's just your income is equal to the average of the top 5 people who you hang out with, their income.
Wow.
So if you're I'm not going to provide examples, but basically their level of performance is going to directly influence the way you feel and the way that you perform. And so it's very similar with mindset, right? Which is that the top 5 people you hang out with, their mindsets are without a doubt going to have an influence on you.
For sure. Number 4 is, what am I watching? What am I watching? What am I reading? What am I listening to regularly? Am I listening to good, healthy podcasts? Or am I listening to sports radio? Am I watching the news? Because if we've talked about before, Amanda, the news will drag me down. Mm-hmm. I don't care what side you're on, left or right, center, up, down. The news is designed to create fear, to bring you back tomorrow. That is the whole intent. What can I do to bring this viewer back tomorrow? So if I can create fear in them, they're going to come back because they're going to want to know. So what are you watching? What are you listening to? Is it healthy? Is it good books that you're reading?
Yeah. This is where you always have to be careful about your inputs, right? Because there's no slants against, entertainment or even social media, but they can be slippery slopes, which is what is the message that it's putting into your brain? What are you putting in your box? Because whatever you put in your box is what you take out and build with your life.
For sure.
So, social media, again, great. I wanted to catch up. I saw, my friend had her wedding and all her pictures look gorgeous and I got to see, how it went. But if you start going, oh gosh, look at her beautiful wedding and compared to my wedding. So be careful about how you're taking those inputs, because social media can be a great tool, connect with people that you haven't seen in a long time or that you like connecting with, but be careful about the way that it's affecting you.
It's so good. Just be the gate at your mind.
Yes.
Be the gatekeeper at the mind. Number 5 is, am I taking care of myself? Dan Mickey, the president here at Service Champions, often talks about the importance of the three pillars.
Yeah.
Making sure you're getting the right amount of sleep, 7 to 8 hours. Make sure you're eating, your nutrition is good. So you're eating a lot of protein and not getting consumed, and eating a lot of carbs, and make sure you're getting your exercise. At least 5 days a week, getting exercise. Because as we always say, movement is medicine.
Yes. The 3 pillars, we could probably do a whole episode on that. But yeah, sleep, nutrition, and fitness. The reason we call them the 3 pillars, it's like a stool. You knock one out, the others start to crumble. Yeah. So very important you're maintaining all 3.
Why don't we have Dan on a podcast to do that for us? Dan Mickey, we are volunteering you.
We're calling you out.
Come on our podcast and talk about the 3 pillars, because you do a great job of this.
Yes.
And we'd love to have you. So
great topic.
Movement is medicine. The 6th item and the final item on this episode is to stay curious. Ask yourself, am I a knower or am I a learner? Do I practice being a lifetime student? Or am I someone that comes across as I'm a know-it-all? Are you a knower or a learner? And in order to keep an abundance mindset, be that learner. Amanda, you opened us up, and guess what? We're always about making our future bigger than our past, so I'll let you do the honors.
Oh, thank you. We always like to make our futures bigger than our past, so team, here's to a bigger future. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.